Hey, this video is how to change the direction on your SkeinTwister. Shooting it again because apparently in Instagram live video you get one chance and one chance only to save it to your phone. And I missed that chance, so yeah, that wasn't very helpful. Anyway, showing you how to change the direction on your SkeinTwister. It's very easy. You just need a few tools and to be able to use a screwdriver. That's it, really. Yeah, a couple people were like, oh, I ordered it one way and I really meant to order it the other way and now my skeins don't match and it's driving me crazy. And apparently this is something that like everybody kind of cares about, so, or a lot of people at least. So here is the handy tutorial on how to change it. All right, get this set up here. Camera oriented, hopefully. All right, so got your SkeinTwister here, and first you need a few tools. Number one screwdriver is actually the best for all of the Phillips head screws that you'll have to do. That's the slightly smaller Phillips head. So one of those is good. And then you need a little bit of a specialty screwdriver. It is a 2.5 millimeter screwdriver, flathead, or flat blade screwdriver for a slotted head screw. And I got this one from iFixit. It's a really nice little one. 2.5 millimeters, 3/32, or 2 millimeters will also work just fine. But an 1/8 inch one is going to be a little bit too big. So you can get these locally probably at a hardware store or maybe even Best Buy or Staples. They tend to be sold as precision screwdrivers or miniature screwdrivers for fixing computers and electronics. Something that's in an eyeglass toolkit is probably going to be a little bit too small. All right, and then one more thing, you need a pretty dish, and that's to hold your screws for you so that they don't roll off the table. And it should be from your favorite potter, and it should be pretty. There we go. All right, so first we're gonna undo these screws. There are 4 screws, 2 on each side of the SkeinTwister there, and they just hold on that bottom wood base that you use for clamping it to the table. So as I'm doing that, I can tell you a little bit about SkeinTwister. There are a lot of different ways I could have designed it, and it's like, yeah, I could have made a switch or something like that so that you could kind of change direction on the fly. But that actually would have added a fair bit of electronic complexity and or cabling complexity. So that would have made the circuit board more expensive. It would have made development time more. Or if I like kind of went the mechanical switch route, it would have made the assembly, like the final assembly of everything in the box, take more time and be more expensive. And also then I would have had a switch that probably would eventually wear out. So trying to keep things simple and minimal, and you know, most of you guys are probably just going to set it one way or the other and be totally fine with it. So it's a little bit of a game of figuring out the best compromise for the most people. All right, so now the base is off. Put that somewhere. Now, if you flip it over, you'll see 4 screws on the back, and that just holds the lid on. So we'll take those 4 screws out too. So yeah, when I was doing the beta group, it was kind of funny. The very first SkeinTwisters that I delivered to the beta group, I didn't say anything about direction because it was basically a test of how much people actually cared. Because I thought, hey, if I can just deliver these all go in the same way, that would make my life so much easier. And so I just delivered them all clockwise. That was it. Didn't say that there was a choice, didn't say that it could be reversed or anything. And actually at that point it was not, here I'm just doing these screws, it was not that easy to reverse because the wires were soldered in. And yeah, it turns out that people had pretty strong feelings about direction, so I had to make it, you know, able to go either way. And then I was like, all right, well, since I'm making it go either way, probably some people are going to change their mind once they get it. So I better make this easy to do. So there we go. SkeinTwister guts. Awesome. So this is the circuit board. This is the motor. Wire for the motors go into the circuit board. And basically, let's see if I can get a little bit better light on this. Basically, what you're going to do is you're just going to swap these two wires, and that swaps the direction of the twister. They are just held in by these two screws. Those are those little slotted screws that you're going to use the precision screwdriver for. And the first thing we're going to do is just unscrew these screws, and they don't come all the way out. They actually will stop at some point, so if it starts to get difficult to unscrew, don't go any further. But the head of the screw will be just about flush with the top of this terminal block here, at the top of this black plastic piece. So the 2.5 millimeter pretty much like fits perfect. All right, so those two are unscrewed now. And, oh, there's one more thing. You can kind of see, perhaps, over here, I think right over here, it says black/red, clockwise/counterclockwise. That's the color of this wire. It's a little guide. I mean, basically, if you want it to go the other direction, just take them out and swap the directions. But, you know, if you take the wires out, then get distracted, then come back and you're like, oh crap, I don't know which way it was going. This will tell you a little bit. So since the red wire is in the bottom here, it's going counterclockwise, CCW. So swapping them with the black wire in this little terminal right there, then it'll be going clockwise, CW. All right, so I like to do this next part, even though I am right-handed. I like to do this with my left hand because it's just a little bit easier to get the wires in from that perspective if I flip it around this way. Because let's see, so now that I've unscrewed the screws, wires just come out like that, no problem. And let's see if we can get a good angle here. So you can kind of see that there are two holes there, and that's where we're putting the wires into. They're like a little bit hard to see from the top, so you might have to kind of feel a little bit, but that's why it's a little bit easier to put them in from this side so that your knuckles like don't get in the way of this edge of the box. So the other thing that you might want to do is, like, the wires will be sort of like a little bit flattened from being screwed in, and you might just want to give them like a little bit of an extra twist, especially if there are any stray strands of the wires like splayed out. Just you know, give them a nice tidied up twist there. All right, and now we're gonna put the black one furthest away and the red one closest to us. So I like to do the one that's closest to the edge of the enclosure here first. It just makes it a little easier. So put the red one in there, screw it down, and you'll see the insulation here pretty much like goes up to the edge of the connector. There shouldn't be like a big gap here. Like here you can see a bunch of uninsulated wire going in. It should pretty much go all the way in so that the insulation is flush with the edge there. And then just screw it down. And, you know, don't twist these screws a lot. Like, go until it's snug. You're not gonna really be able to put like a ton of force on those screws, at least not without maybe screwing up the terminal block in the circuit board there. So it should just be snug, not like super tight. So put that one down, give it just a little burp. And then I can just like tug on these lightly. You just want to make sure that they're like not loose and they won't fall out on their own. If you yanked on those really hard, it would be possible to rip them out of the terminal block, so don't do that. Just like gentle little tug just to make sure they're held in snugly. All snug. All right, so there you go. You've now successfully changed the direction of your SkeinTwister. And all you have to do is put on the lid and then screw it back onto the base, and that's it. Yeah. the hook is just out on this one. You can do it with the hook in. I guess one thing that I should note specifically is make sure it's unplugged from the wall when you do this. And yeah, that's it. Happy twisting!